Stakes Takes back again on this Saturday with a huge show for you. Let's get to it. You already know we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're coming in, got Saturday and Sunday's full soccer slate for y'all. UFC 268, Usman vs. Covington 2. Got some NBA, some NHL locks for y'all. Took a couple days off. Had to enjoy that 31-day streak. Capping it off with 9 hitters over the last weekend. Had 6 on Halloween. Ridiculous day. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, first goal scorer. Absolutely wild. Crazy run. Back again with a huge show. And make sure y'all stay on the lookout for the Sunday show dropping tomorrow. NFL Week 9. We even got A-Branks' locks back again. Let's get it. HST prop bets. Huge show for y'all. And where we off to next? You never know. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Liking, subscribing. If you fuck with it, tell your friends about it. Let's get to it. Let's get this money. Alright, let's get into it. Odell getting cut? What? That's hectic. Von Miller traded to the Rams? He said fuck them draft picks. So, huge show. Huge show. We got 20 soccer locks between Saturday, today, and tomorrow. Sunday, Liverpool, West Ham. Huge show. And MLS final match day. Sunday, kicking off at 3:30. Second half of the game's at 6 o'clock. So many teams fighting for playoffs. Gonna be a huge day and weekend in soccer. And we got 30 locks for y'all. Let's go. And to get us started, the best way possible. Now, this Man United at home versus Man City at 8:30. 8:30 in the morning. Get the crust out your eyes, boy. Huge game. You got Man United sitting 5th in the Premier League. 5-2-3 on the year. 19 goals for, 15 goals against. Off a 2-2 draw at Atalanta in the Champions League. But the away team has won 7 out of the last 10 of these meetings between these top clubs, under 2.5 in 5 straight meetings. You got Man City sitting 3rd, 6-2-2, 20 goals for, only 6 given up on the year. Off a 4-1 victory at home versus Club Brugge in the Champions League. I think Man City, just based on that key stat to this one, away team has won 7 of the last 10. Give me Man City, especially with how Man United have been playing, giving up goals. The over-under was at 2.5. It probably shifted. Go over here, look at the live odds quick. Bruh, there it is. I was about to say. It actually didn't shift at all. So that has to make you a little sketchy. Over under at 2.5. Still over is favored at -160. I don't think it's going to hit the over. It's hit the under 2.5 in 5 straight. Key stat. We're locking in. Man City. Money line -143. Lock it in. First lock to this huge slate for the weekend. Now at 11 o'clock, who we got? We got Chelsea at home versus Burnley. Now, Chelsea was -400. Where they at now? Still -400. Hold up. Yeah. See, it's so weird. The home team, why would they set them up on the right? Sportsbook, just straight basura. Crazy. But Chelsea at home versus Burnley. Burnley sitting plus 1,200 underdogs. You got Chelsea sitting first in the table. 8-1-1 on the year. Off to a crazy start. Shout out Tuchel. He's going in. 8-1-1. 2 more wins than Liverpool, Man City, and West Ham. 26 goals for. Only 3 against. On a 7-game win streak. And have won 6 of the last 7 versus Burnley. Let's get it. Let's get it. I think this will be kind of a sketchy one. I think Lukaku and Werner are out. Kovacic, Marcos Alonso, he's out. Mason Mount, questionable with an illness. He'll probably play, or at least off the bench. But Chelsea, stacked squad, 7-game win streak. Burnley sitting 18th in the table. If we look at that here. Only 1 win on the year. 10 goals for, 16 goals against. Come on. Only 1 win in their last 6 games. But they are coming off that 3-1 victory versus Brentford. Now, that's a big result, especially Brentford's not the best team, but they've been playing well, sitting around middle of the table, 3-3-4 on the year. Brentford's a solid team, especially after getting promoted. Solid squad. And to beat them 3-1, I think that's a good result and could push a streak of good results. So I'm thinking Chelsea, they might squeak out a 2-1 victory, maybe 1-2-0. But I think Maxwell Cornet, he's been playing solid as of late. But look at him. A goal in the 36th. Absolute beast. And he had a goal disallowed for offsides. So, boy's been playing out of his mind. I think they'll get going a little bit. But Chelsea, top of the table. I'm locking them in minus 400. Staying away from the 1.5. Because they could get it. Especially with Burnley, I think that's one of those games where people are going to be all over it. But I don't think it's going to hit. I think they squeak out a 2-1 victory. So I'm also locking in the over 2.5. That has hit in 11 of the last 14 meetings. Lock it in. Let's get it. Now, what's the next one? Now, to talk about the team Burnley have beaten in their last match. Brentford at home versus Norwich. Guaranteed lock. Brentford minus 163. Let's see if that changed at all. Now minus 154. Switched just a little bit. But I'm thinking, Brentford dealing with some injuries. Ajer, one of their big center backs, he's out. So with the over-under at 2.5, let's see if that has shifted. Still plus 100 for the over 2.5. I'd be a little skeptical about that. Norwich, last in the table, only 3 goals on the year. Have given up 25. That's crazy. And then you got Brentford sitting 13th. 12 goals for, 12 goals against. Only 3-3-3 at home this year. But I think going up against a Norwich team who haven't won a game this year, lost 7 of their last 9 games. I think Brentford coming off that 3-1 loss on the road, I think coming home, they'll have a big result. And let's get it. Let's get it. This is one of those ones where it's like, probably won't add it to the parlay. But Ivan Toney, he's a beast of a striker. I think he'll get the job done. He'll get at least a goal or 2. And Brentford, minus now 154. Lock them in. For sure. Send it. Let's go. Let's have a day. Let's get it. Now, over to Ligue 1, where we got Lille at home versus Angers. This game is at 12 o'clock noon. You got Lille, 12th in the league, surprisingly. Especially because they won the league last year over PSG, over all the top teams in that league. Only 4-3-5 this year. 15 goals for, 18 goals against. That's not how you expect a team to come out when they're trying to defend their title. And with each team only one win in their last 5 games, this is kind of a tough one to call. But Lille have won 4 out of their last 5 meetings with Angers. And Angers, even though they're sitting 8th in the table, they've given up 15 goals, scored 18 themselves. I think this might be a back and forth game. If we go look at the over-under, I'm pretty sure. See, minus 135 moved up just a little bit from minus 129. And the over-under still at the over, just a slight underdog at plus 110. So I think that might hit. We might see some goals in this game, especially with them giving up 33 combined. So that's not one of my locks, but that's definitely some good value right there at plus 110. But Lille, I'm going to lock him in now minus 135. Let's get it. Coming off a big win over Sevilla. And they needed that too. Go over here. It was out of Francois. Where they at though? Lille. At home. Even though they're missing Botman, center back. Even though they're missing Yilmaz. He has an illness. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's COVID, but coming off that big win in the Champions League on the road versus Sevilla, I think they'll come back home off a huge, bruh. Let me just show you how big that was quick. Right? That win pushed them into second. Now that's qualifying. They just need to maintain, get results. And Lille, sneaky team. Renato Sanchez out there. He returned from injury, I think, a few matches ago. He's an absolute beast. But the next lock we got for y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's have a day. Give it up for all the dogs out there. Let's get it. Over in the Bundesliga at 10:30, Bayern Munich at home versus Freiburg. Now, this is a game that I think is also going to get sketchy. Bayern sitting top of the table, 8-1-1. Have been dominating all their matches lately. But 38 goals for, 10 goals given up. Right? The most dominant team. But you look at Freiburg, only 7 goals given up on the year. Sitting 3rd in the table. Surprising as hell. And haven't lost yet. Could this be their first loss of the year? They're unbeaten at home this year. 5 wins from 7 games at home. That's a solid record. But Bayern have won 16 of the last 17 home games versus Freiburg. Only 5 games by 3+ goals. So for this one, I'm going to stay away from the minus 2.5 handicap bet. Let's see if it shifted at all. It probably did. Minus 650, still the same. I don't think they get it done minus 2.5, but and it's sitting at plus 105, so it's the slight underdog for them to win by 3 goals. They've been dominating lately. It might be 2-1 victory, 2-0 victory. We'll see. This is gonna be that game where Freiburg, only 7 goals given up. Let's see how your defense is against Bayern, right? Let's see how they perform. So I'm gonna stay away from the over/under. I'm gonna lock in. You can add it to the parlay. Now it might come back. Hope it don't come back to bite you. But minus 650, because I don't think they win by more than 2 goals. I don't know if it's going to hit the over 3.5. I don't like sending unders. So I'm going to lock in for this one. Bayern Munich, minus 650 on the money line. You can add it to the parlay. I think it'll be a tough game, even though they're at home. And winning 16 of those 17 games, lock it in, for sure. It's 20 locks over these 2 days. Gotta start flying through it. Let's get it. Also in the Bundesliga at 1:30 today, we got RB Leipzig versus Borussia Dortmund. Now, Dortmund, missing Haaland still, a plethora of injuries. Crazy. Kind of sucks. Give it up for those folks who are injured. Get back, get healthy, keep working hard. That's just tough to see those folks out. But RB Leipzig at home, Klosterman out, Willy Orban, he's out. They're gonna allow goals in this game. But you look at Dortmund, Emre Can, Dahoud, Guerrero, Haaland, Giovanni Reina, even Nico Schultz, the wingback. So many injuries. But even with all that, dealing with it all year, sitting second in the table, 8 wins, 2 losses, 27 to 15 goal difference. But in their last 6 away games, Dortmund's 3-0-3. So they don't draw games. They're either going to win or lose. They always go for it. And coming off a 3-1 loss versus Ajax, that's a tough loss to take. Granted, they're missing players. They did get that huge red card. So that's probably the main reason why they lost. But you got Leipzig sitting 8th in the table, 4-3-3 on the year. 24 to 10 goal difference, only 10 goals given up, just like Munich. And that's tied for least in the league. So scoring 21 themselves, it's not bad. But coming off a 2-2 draw versus PSG in the Champions League, where they could have won that game. You had Andre Silva miss a penalty. That's huge. Let's look at that game. In the 12th minute. Could have scored 4 minutes later after GOOOOOOO. But Wijnaldum, 2 huge goals. Shout out to Liverpool, man. Give it up for that boy. That boy out there. Let's keep bowling. Dead ass. But damn. Orban hurt. They actually went more attacking in that second half. Right? Took off at center back. Put on Haidara. He's more of a central defensive midfield. Poulsen for Andre Silva. Sociablai. He's a fucking beast. They should start him. Dead ass. I like Forsberg. You could even start him with him. But I think this game, at home versus Dortmund, Leipzig have had it tough against Dortmund. But Haaland has been dominating those games as of late. Leipzig only 1 win in the last 10 meetings. So I don't think they'll get the victory. Taking Dortmund, that would probably be a solid bet. Plus a half. Let's see if that shifted at all. See, shifted from plus 255 to plus 265. Not too much. Leipzig only shifted 3. But with the over-under now dropped to 2.5, that will shift back up to 3.5. So I hope I get this out before then. And let's get it. Let's get it. I'm locking in the over 2.5 and Dortmund. I think they'll cover a half right there. It'll be tough if it ends in a 1-1 draw. But I'm thinking it's going to end in a 2-2 draw. Maybe Dortmund pull off the victory out of nowhere. But I think it's going to be a back and forth game. Another shootout. 3 goals in this game. That's so easy. Lock it in. Lock it in. Let's go. Let's get it. Huge weekend. Now, the last lock On the soccer Saturday, we got Cagliari at home versus Atalanta. Atalanta, I seen that line change actually a lot. Shifted from minus 225, went to minus 200, now back at minus 225. Cagliari, still plus 550, and sitting last in the table, 1-3-7 on the year, have given up 24 goals. Psh, come on. That's absolutely crazy. But dealing with so many injuries. Granted, Atalanta, they got their injuries too, but Pessina, Hatawar, Gosens, some key players out. But you got Cagliari off 3 straight losses. Lost 2-0 to Bologna on the road in their last game. Have let up 2+ goals in 3 straight games. Facing an Atalanta team who love scoring goals. You got Ilicic, Muriel, absolute monsters. Imagine that it was a sponsor. It was like absolute monsters. Talking about them, boom, there's a monster can. That'd be hectic, dead ass. But Atalanta, on the other hand, off back-to-back 2-2 draws at home versus Lazio and Man United, have scored 2+ goals in 6 of their last 7 away games, and their only loss in that span came to Man United in the Champions League. And that's because Man United came back in that game. So I'm looking at Atalanta, key stat, 4 straight wins on the road versus Cagliari. Only 4 straight clean sheets too. I just noticed that. So Cagliari at home haven't scored in their last 4 matches versus Atalanta. Lock it in. I think the guaranteed lock for this one. I'm going to stay away from the over-under. Even though Cagliari last in the table, 24 goals given up. Atalanta can score whenever they want. And I think, 3.5. Maybe they win by 2 goals. But for it to hit the over 3.5, it would have to be a 3-1 victory. And for that to hit, if you think it's going to be a 3-1 victory, bruh, plus 1,100 odds. Imagine that shit. That would be crazy. But that's all the things you think of, right? Because there's no way they win 4-1. But if you think so, where's that one at? 4-1. Plus 1,900. See, that's when you just gotta simmer down. But lock for that one. Atalanta, minus 225. Staying away from the over 3.5 in that one. And couple Chell locks for y'all. I think at 7 o'clock today, we'll look at the Chell slate quick. You got check out the Edmonton coming back yesterday. Jets 5-1 victory. Canucks losing. Ducks 3-1 victory. Some big games going on today. Bruins, Leafs. Them boys going at it. Puck drops at 7:08. Let's get it. Fucking Hurricanes, Panthers. The battle of the 2 top teams in the East right there. Each team with 9 wins. Panthers do have that 1 overtime loss, but Florida's favored in that game. I think there's going to be goals left and right. 6, solid. I think that shit might be a push, but could easily hit 7 goals in that game. It's not a lock, though. I didn't lock it in. But my lock for... shifted from minus 115. Did it really? See? Now straight even. A pick'em game. Vegas Golden Knights on the road versus Montreal. Now, Vegas was minus 115. Now it's a minus 110 pick'em. And if you look, bruh, Montreal, what the fuck? I was about to say, if you look, Montreal 3-9 on the year. Golden Knights 5-5. Just picked up Jack Eichel. I think he's still on IR, but once they get him back, I think that offense will take off. And with the over-under at 5.5 goals, I'm going to stay away from that. I think the Vegas Golden Knights being a better team, I think they go on the road, get the victory. I'm locking them in. Minus 110. That's a straight pick 'em. Straight pick 'em. Damn. I didn't get it soon enough. Bruh, Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Washington Capitals. The over-under was at 5.5, minus 120 to hit the over. Now it has shifted, as you can see, to 6. And to hit the over, it's plus 100. My lock was the over 5.5. I'm going to still rock with the 6, even though it'll be a push if it hits exactly 6, obviously. But I think there's going to be goals back and forth in that hard-nosed game, for real. So I'm locking in over 6 now. I got to write that down, update it. Little update, and if you remember me from back in the Xbox days, love Dadle. What you know about it? So plus 100. It's not bad. And now, the night game. Seattle Kraken with that big victory, 5-2. I think they played the Sabres. Now taking on the Coyotes. Even though, I'm pretty sure they're traveling on the road. Yeah. Arizona Coyotes at home versus Seattle Kraken. I think the Kraken playing well. Coyotes, second game off a back-to-back. I think Kraken get the victory here. Tanev, he's a fucking beast. He's an absolute dog on that ice. Shout out to Bruins. But I think the Seattle Kraken, I think they get the job done here. I don't think the Coyotes have won a game yet this year. Yeah, 0-10-1. Just lost to the Ducks last night. Now, we're locking in. Seattle, what is it, minus 160? For sure. Seattle Kraken, minus 160 on the money line. On the road to get it done. Now, let's get it. You already know, tonight all you're going to hear, UFC 268 knockouts. You're going to be like, damn boy's going to be out there raw. So, we have huge locks for y'all. UFC 268, probably be kicking it like karate with Branks tonight, watching these fights. Rose Namajunas, Zhang Wiley. I hope I hit it. No disrespect to you. She's an absolute beast. I think she honestly gets the job done tonight. This is probably a pick'em right now at this point. But UFC 268, let's go. MSG, I would be in there, but vaccination bullshit. You need your card. I got my card. No chance, son. Fuck out of here. We're going on the swing, son. Going on the swings. But Rose, plus 105. That shifted just a little bit. She was minus 105. And Zhang Weili was minus 115. But she is now a minus 125 favorite. Even though Rose got the strap. She got the belt. Come on. I think that's crazy odds, but it's going to be a close, hard. And Rose knocked her out, right? Finished her in the last fight. So, I think that's crazy odds right there. This should be a pick'em. But we're going to rock with, see, this one, I want to go Rose. But I think Zhang, she's going to zang and zag on her. And I think she gets the victory. Lock it in. Minus 125. Now, the main event, where we at? Welterweight title fight? Kobe Covington, Usman, 2, numero dos. Come on. We're going to rock with it. And Usman, he's been active, especially this year. Covington hasn't fought in a grip. And Usman, he's a different dog. Minus 310. We're going to lock him in for sure. He's guaranteed to retain the title. But their last fight was no walk in the park. He finished him, I think, in the last round. But it was a back and forth brawl in their last fight. And Usman, he's done nothing but get better since that fight. And Covington, not as active. Some injuries and shit in there. I think that might weigh big on this fight. And Usman, he's just a different animal. Lock him in, minus 310. The next one we got, Michael Chandler taking on Justin fucking Gaethje, who does nothing but give you fucking crazy fights. Now this man, he hasn't fought in a little bit too. And Chandler, coming off his debut, knocking out Dan Hooker. This fight's gonna be absolutely fucking ridiculous. Now, Gaethje, I could be wrong here, right? But I think with all those battles, all the hits he's taken, all that, your chin could do nothing but deteriorate, right? And not saying, all right, he's got a weak chin. Hell no. That boy's a dog. He be in there. But you seen what he did to Dan Hooker. And Gaethje's no Dan Hooker. Facts. But Gaethje, I feel like he's been quick to get startled. Like, especially like when he gets hit, maybe a little woozy after a hit. And I felt like it's been happening sooner in each of the past couple fights for him. So I'm trying to look for that, see how he takes that. Because Chandler, I think he will land for sure. Gaethje, knees, elbows, absolute beast in there. And he doesn't use his wrestling, which might come into play in this fight. But this is going to be an all-out war. 2 dogs in there. With what I've been saying, you could kind of see where I'm leaning. So I'm going to lock in. I think Chandler in his second fight, I think he gets that victory. We're going to lock him in. Plus 175 dog to get that victory tonight. If he lands one of them bombs, it's going to be tough for Gaethje. Especially after all his wars that he's been through. So the other one we got, Shane Burgos. Now he's minus 195, still is on the money line. This one, Billy Quarantillo. Now, we don't know much about old Billy. Old Billy Goat over there. He's obviously a dog. Shout out to anyone in the UFC or the combat sports community. Fuck am I talking about? Not the community, but anybody that is partaking in the sport itself, some dogs. But Shane Burgos, also a dog. And minus 195, this is one of my locks. Now, I think this is going to be a huge fight for him. And actually, hold the fuck up. Burgos, old Billy. See? Knocked him out round 3. Decision loss in the fight before. Woody Burns undercard. Decision. Knocked the other dude out in the 3rd round. Burgos is a different dog though. All he gets is knockout wins. 16-3 versus Shane Burgos. 13-3. I think Burgos is a fucking animal. We're locking him. Let's go. Let's get it. I don't even know if you can show the articles. But Burgos and what's crazy is Gaethje Chandler kicking off the main card. Let's go. It's going to be a huge, huge fight card. I wish I could have been in there. But these fucking protocols, bro. And it's crazy. You could go to, like, what? I mean, I don't want to throw the stadiums under the bus, but you could go to certain stadiums and put the pieces together of what I've been to. And you can walk through them doors and they don't give a damn. You vaccinated, you masked up, it don't matter. You walking through the gates and you enjoying the game because you outside. Right? I think that might be what it is too. An enclosed environment in an arena rather than a stadium. So, could be what it is, but fuck, I was trying to be there. It's gonna be a huge, huge night. Now, also, now I'll give you the last lock. We're gonna take Martin Vera versus Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar plus 135. Shifted just a little bit. Each shifted 10. Now Vera minus 150. But I think Martin Vera, he's a fucking animal. We're gonna lock him in. Burgos to get victories. That 10-team parlay looking smooth. At plus 18. Hunch. Ooh, that shit. Let's get it. Let's have a huge weekend. And that wraps it up for the Saturday locks. All my locks. And we did say we're going to give you Saturday and Sunday soccer locks. So let's get into Sunday. Let's have a huge day. Let's give it up for the boys. For the boys in the Sunday show. Dropping tomorrow. NFL Week 9. Branks' locks. Make sure you stay tuned. Hit that noti button so you're notified when we drop our episodes. All the latest locks. HST out here cooking. Let's get it. Huge drop for the weekend. Now, Arsenal to get us started on this Saturday. Huge. Huge. I mean, we said Saturday. Now, Arsenal versus Watford to get us started on that Sunday. Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, Arsenal minus 275. Now, let's see if that has shifted. I don't like how they redid this shit, but can't expect nothing more out of this. But Arsenal sitting 6th in the table. 5-2-3 on the year. Now, hold up just a second. Get to my Sunday slate. Sitting 5-2-3 on the year. That's not too bad. Arteta kind of turning it around. And 12 goals, 13 goals against, neg 1 goal difference. Probably lucky to be in 6th place, but you got Watford, 3-1-6 on the year, 16th in the table, 18 goals given up compared to 12 goals for, which same as Arsenal. So I'm gonna stay away from the over/under. You got Arsenal off a 2-0 victory on the road versus Leicester. That's a big result. And Watford only 1 win in their last 6 games with 4 losses in that time. And winless in their last 3 on the road versus Arsenal. Let's get it. Arsenal, 3 straight wins at home versus Watford. You know who we locking in. Let's get it. Arsenal minus 275 to get us started on the huge Sunday in soccer. Now the next one we got in the Premier League. Leeds versus Leicester. Leeds plus 170 at home. And this one, I think this is going to be a sneaky lock. Still hasn't shifted. Odds probably won't shift until like Saturday night, maybe midday, maybe even Sunday morning. This game's at 9 o'clock. Now, Leeds, only 1 win at home in their last 5 games. And only 1 win in their last 8 home games versus Leicester. And Leicester sitting 11th in the table, 4-2-4 on the year, 17 goals given up, which is that's a little blemish on the record, but 15 goals for, have won with 6 goals in their last 2 away games, and have won 5 of their last 6 on the road versus Leeds. We're locking in Leicester plus 145 as good value early on the road. And even though Leeds missing Bamford, we'll look at that more in depth. Missing Bamford, Luke Ayling, Koch in the midfield. I think Leicester get this done, but you have to be weary of James Maddison, Ricardo Pereira. They're questionable. Got to make sure they play, especially Maddison. He's a huge midfielder for Leicester. I won't say in general. He's not like Grealish. Let's just say that. And we're going to lock in the over 2.5 in that game as well. The huge game for the day on Sunday. Now, West Ham at home versus Liverpool. Liverpool minus 138, coming off the 2-0 victory versus Atletico. 6-4-0 this year in the Premier League. 29 goals for, only 8 given up. But compared to West Ham, who sitting 4th in the league, 6-2-2 on the year, 20 goals for, 11 goals given up. Only 1 win in their last 4 home games, though. That's a big key stat for me in West Ham. You got Liverpool, who their last away loss was back in April of the Champions League. That 3-1 loss versus Real Madrid on the road. They've got 5 straight road victories. Over under at 3.5. Let's see if this has changed a bit. I think it might have. Nope. Actually, the over-under hasn't shifted. The over 3.5 is still plus 120. I think it will hit that. West Ham have been giving up goals as of late, and with only 1 win in their last 4 home games in the Premier League. I think Liverpool get the victory, lock in the over 3.5, and lock in Liverpool, which is now minus 143. Shifted just 5. But the key thing to me is West Ham shifting from plus 350 to now plus 375. Liverpool guaranteed to get that victory. Lock them in. Lock them in. Let's get it. Virgil gonna step up big versus Antonio. Let's go. Let's have a huge weekend. Now, about to get a little saucy. Get into the Belgian Pro League. Sunday at 3 p.m. we got Genk taking on Cercle Bruges. Now, Genk minus 185 favorites. Bruges plus 460 underdogs. Over under at 3.5. We're going to stay away from it, even though Genk have been scoring left and right as of late. And if we look at the Belgian Pro League, them boys out there. Now, Genk sitting 7th in the table. 6 wins, 5 losses, only 2 draws, 27 goals for. That's tied for 2nd most in the league. And you got Genk, who've won 7 of the last 8 meetings versus Cercle. Cercle, complete opposite, sitting 17th in the table, 2nd to last, 2-3-8 on the year, 8 losses. That's a huge stat for me. 13 goals for, 20 given up, not too bad compared to the other 2 teams that surround them, who have given up 27 goals. So only 20, not too bad, but you're facing Genk. Genk have been scoring left and right. And Cercle, as of late, they've given up 2+ goals in 5 straight away games. There's no chance they get the victory here. We're locking in Genk, minus 185. And that's one that's definitely going to shift a lot. So you got to get it in early. Where they at? Jank minus 185. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Now, at 7 a.m. on Sunday in Ligue 1, we got Marseille taking on Metz. Now, going over to France, Marseille, still minus 255 favorites, sitting third in the table, 6-4-2 on the year. And if you look at Marseille, they've gotten their key players back, dealing with no injuries right now. Metz dealing with 4 players out. And 20 goals for, only 12 given up, compared to Metz, who sit 19th, second to last in the table. 27 goals given up on the year. That's most in Ligue 1. And with only 1 win in their last 6 away games, and haven't won in their last 12 versus Marseille, this is a guaranteed. Even though a key stat to this one, Marseille and Metz, if we look at their head-to-head, they have 3 straight 1-1 draws. And 2 of those, Marseille traveled on the road. So I think with Marseille at home in this game, let's see who they started versus Lazio. They scored 2 goals. See, Malik being back, that's huge. Dominated Lazio at home. 21 shot attempts, only 4 on target, but 63% of possession. That's solid. Malik, Payet, Guendouzi, solid squad. Who they got coming off the bench? De La Fuente, solid option off the bench. American international. We're gonna lock in Marseille minus 255, guaranteed to get that victory. Huge slate for y'all. Now, this is gonna finish off all the leagues, and then we're gonna hop in to the MLS, where we have 10 locks for final match day in the huge final match day. And guess what? We locked in Revs playoff tickets. Couldn't get row 1. Spoke to the rep on the phone. That boy tried to... Come on. You couldn't get me row 1. I've done nothing but sat row 1 at all the games I went to lately. That shit's the most lit, like, ever. And ended up getting me row 2. About midfield, locked in playoffs for the Revs. If they win the MLS Cup, we're going to be front and center. It's going to be a hectic playoff run. And this final match day is going to decide the teams we play. So it's going to be huge. And let's finish off these league locks and get into that huge Sunday. So 9:30 in the Bundesliga. Sunday we got Hertha Berlin taking on Leverkusen. Hertha sitting 12th, 4 wins, 6 losses on the year. Haven't drawn a game. Only 11 goals for, 23 given up though. I think that's a key stat. Taking on Leverkusen, where sitting 4th in the table, 5-2-3 on the year, 23 goals for, 16 given up. It's kind of sketchy. Leverkusen do give up goals, but their attacking presence, I think it's going to be too much for Hertha, especially Hertha coming off that 2-0 loss on the road versus Hoffenheim. Could have been more. And I think taking on Leverkusen, who coming off that huge win in the Europa League over Betis. That's kind of sketchy though. They haven't beat Hertha in their last 4 games. That's tough. So we're going to stay away from winners in this one. And with the over-under, which should still be at 2.5, could have shifted. And you're probably going to have to get it before it does. But over-under, still minus 140 to hit the over. And are they dealing with injuries? Bakker, Baumgartner. Patrick Schick, Bellarabi. See, dealing with some injuries, but Florian Wirtz, they got absolute dogs. Diaby out there. Fucking animals. Straight beasts out there. I think Leverkusen go on the road, get the victory, but see, I don't know. It's tough though. They haven't won in their last 4 games. So I don't want to lock that in, right? But we are going to lock in the over 2.5 for sure. That has hit in 5 of the last 6 meetings when Leverkusen travels to Hertha Berlin. So let's lock it in. Over 2.5. Guaranteed. Now, over to Serie A, where we got Sampdoria taking on who they got? Bologna at 9 o'clock in the morning Sunday. Now, Sampdoria dealing with injuries all over the board. But sitting 15th in the table, only 2 wins on the year, 3 draws and 6 losses, have given up 23 goals, around the same as Bologna, who have given up 22. But Bologna, they've scored 17 compared to Sampdoria, who have only scored 14. Not a huge difference, obviously. 3 goals, give or take. But Sampdoria coming off a 3-0 loss at Torino, where Bologna coming off a 2-0 victory at home versus Cagliari. I don't fucking know who's gonna win this game. Deadass. We could see Sampdoria come out of nowhere, dealing with all those injuries, and get the victory. But I think in Serie A, there's goals all over the board. And if we look at Italy tomorrow, now there's the over-under at. And the odds haven't shifted. Actually, the over did shift from minus 145 to minus 135. I think it still hits. It has hit in 5. Oh. It's hit actually in 6 straight meetings and 8 out of the last 9 meetings. So, guaranteed to hit, even though there's injuries. I think there's going to be goals given up back and forth. Probably solely based on that reason. And let's get it. Lock in over 2.5 in that Sampdoria versus Bologna game. Now at 12 o'clock in Serie A, and we got 3 locks on Sunday in Serie A for y'all. Lazio, minus 350 at home versus Salernitana. Salernitana, plus 850. 2-1-8 on the year. And damn, see, hit it one time for me, hit it about 2-3 more times for me. 19th in the table, only 10 goals scored compared to 23 given up. Now Lazio, coming off back-to-back 2-2 draws at Marseille and versus Atalanta. But at home, they're just a different breed. Not dealing with too many injuries compared to Salernitana. You see injuries all over the board. And even though they got a solid result, I'm about to be calling them Nitana, solid result in their last game. Only a 1-0 loss versus Napoli, but they've lost 4 out of their last 5 away games. Key stat for me. Because Lazio, unbeaten in their last 14 home games. Huge results at home. I think they get it done here. And if we look at the odds, Lazio minus 350, that's decent. That's decent right there. I think they get it done. There hasn't been too many all-time meetings between these two teams. I think they played like 20 years ago, twice. And Nitana, I think they won their last game 6-1, but it was back in like 9-9. Some crazy shit. But over-under, the over still plus 130. We're going to stay away from the over-under in that one. Even though Nitana, 23 goals given up, only 10 scored. Lazio giving up 19 on the year, that's a hell of a lot of goals. But I think Lazio get the job done here. Lock them in, minus 350, and handicap bet for them to cover 1.5. I think they get that job done too. Lock them in, minus 1.5, which is at a minus 120 favorite. Let's get it. Let's get it. And the last lock for Serie A on Sunday, AC Milan plus 100 at home versus Inter, who are sitting plus 120 favorites. Now, over is still the favorite at minus 140. You got Inter sitting third in the table, 7-3-1 on the year. 28 goals for, only 12 given up, and coming off a huge 3-1 victory at Sheriff Tiraspol in the Champions League. Have won 6 of the last 7 meetings with AC Milan, which is a key stat for me, especially when AC Milan 10-1-0 on the year. No losses. That's a huge stat too. This is going to be a battle. A straight battle between the second and third team. And AC Milan coming off a 1-1 draw versus Porto. They're dealing with some injuries. That's why I think Inter is such a big favorite. It should be closer. Especially with AC Milan haven't lost on the year. Only behind Napoli in first on goal difference. And Napoli only 3 goals given up on the year. That's crazy. But I'm looking at AC Milan winless in their last 6 home games versus Inter. I think they could win this game, but with the over-under sitting at 2.5, the over 2.5 has hit in 5 out of the last 6 meetings. Let's get it. I'm locking in the over 2.5, and if you had to pick a winner in this huge matchup in Serie A, I'm gonna lock in Inter plus 120. But I didn't put them down. Could be a back and forth game, 2-2 draw, but it's guaranteed to hit the over 2.5. Guaranteed. Let's get it. Now the last lock we got in the leagues over in La Liga. 12:30 p.m. on Sunday. Osasuna taking out Real Sociedad. Now, Osasuna plus 210 underdog. Now, if we look. See, maybe they get it done. Plus 135, I think that's good value right there. Especially Sociedad sitting first in La Liga, 17 goals for, only 10 given up. Compared to Osasuna, 14 goals, 15 given up, sitting 7th in the table. Not bad, but 5-4-3 on the year. Give or take some games, they're off a decent, well, not decent, but lost 2-0 on the road versus Sevilla. I think the other goal was late. Sociedad. See, 2-0 on the road. They had 10 shots compared to Sevilla 16. Not too bad. Gave up a goal late in the first half. 20 minutes into the second half. But damn. They aren't too bad. This is why this one's a little sketchy to me. We did lock in Sociedad plus 135. Based on the key fact that Real Sociedad unbeaten in their last 7 away games. I'd be looking at this shit like, damn. Won 3 straight on the road at Osasuna. Osasuna only 1-3-2 at home this year. Only 4 goals in their 6 games at home. I think Sociedad get it done. Fuck it. We'll send it plus 135, but That's a little sketchy one to me. But what's the next one we got? Let's get it. Huge MLS final match day. 10 locks for y'all. Let's get it. FC Cincinnati versus Atlanta United. FC Cincy plus 310. Atlanta United minus 130 favorites. You got FC Cincy sitting last in the league. 4-8-21 on the year. 21 losses. 72 goals given up. Granted, only scored 36 compared to Atlanta United, who put up 43 goals. So not a huge difference there. But Atlanta United locking defensively. Only 36 goals given up. They need at least a draw to clinch playoffs. They've kept a clean sheet in the last 2 away games. That's why I think they get it done here. And if you look at Cincy, their defense has been absolutely horrible. Straight leg. Crazy. And Cincy, 11 straight losses, 17 goals given up over their last 4 games. That's insane. That's almost like undoable. That's what, like 4.5 goals given up a game? That's insane. So I'm gonna lock in Atlanta United minus 130, and with the over under at 2.5 minus, I think this probably shifted. See if we look at it, bruh. Minus 130 still. Over under, I think Atlanta United, only 43 goals on the year. This would probably be a 2-0 victory. I'm locking Atlanta United. Minus 130. Stay away from the over 2.5. Even though I wrote down over 2.5. Might get a little sketchy out there. Atlanta United haven't been playing the best as of late, and only 12 in 9 losses on the year. I don't know. They got to go on the road. They got to get a result. They might settle for a draw. So, could get sketchy, but we're locking in Atlanta United and staying away from the over 2.5. The next game we got Nashville SC taking on New York Red Bulls. New York Red Bulls plus 215. Now, still plus 215. Nashville sitting third in the East. 12, 17, and 4 on the year. 17 draws. That's crazy. Especially with 54 goals for and only 32 given up. That's a plus 22 goal difference. To get 17 draws out of that, insane. But compared to the New York Red Bulls, 13, 8, and 12 losses on the year. Only 38 goals scored, but only 32 given up. Solid defensively, and off a 0-0 draw versus Atlanta United, I think they're going to be battling for that playoff position. And, bruh, it's going to really come down to that last day. Look at the standings. New York Red Bulls, barely in the playoffs. That last seed, only by 1 point over Montreal. Only by 3 points over DC United and Columbus. So, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be an absolute battle on this last day. And I think Nashville, coming off another draw at Orlando City, 1-1. I think the Red Bulls, they could squeak in with the draw, depending on how Montreal does. But I don't think they get the job done here. This is my flyer for the weekend. Well, actually, flyer for this MLS final match day. Bruh, plus 200 draw. Let's get it. I think these teams, only 2 ever meetings. Actually, only 1 ever meeting. Red Bulls were at home. 1-2-0. can't really base too much on that. So I think final match day, it's going to be a battle. Nashville already clinched. Each team only 32 goals given up. Probably going to hit the under. That's kind of crazy. Over 2.5 is plus 150. What the fuck? Look at this shit. Plus 150 to hit the over 2.5. Imagine that shit hits. That'd be crazy. But we're going to lock in the flyer for this MLS Sunday. Plus 200 draw in that Nashville SC versus New York Red Bulls game. Now this next one. This could get a little sketch also. New York Revs, the Revolution, taking on Inter Miami. Final game at home. First in the league. 22-7-4 on the year. Only 4 losses for the Revs this year. Crazy year. 65 goals, only 40 given up. Off a 1-0 win at home versus Colorado. And sitting 12-3-1 on the year at home. One of the key stats though, Buska, he hurt his foot. Buchanan, he's probably going to get rested for this game. There's no reason to actually play him. They're already locked in first throughout the playoffs. So another dope thing about locking in that seat, you can be able to watch every game that they win. And in the playoffs, games actually go to extra time. I already know there's going to be at least one that does. It's going to be fucking hectic, even though it's going to be brick. It's going to be dead brick. But taking on Inter Miami. Inter, 11th in the league. Well, actually 11th in the East. 11, 5, and 17 on the year. 17 losses. Key stat for me. 53 goals given up compared to only 35 scored. And Inter, off a 3-1 loss versus New York City FC. See, that's too many C's in your name. New York, see, NYCFC. Haha, too much. And they've lost 5 straight away games. I think with the Revs, they're probably going to rest some players. They're almost guaranteed to miss Buska. They're going to let him rest up that foot, especially because they don't have to play in that little first round playing game. And Buska, if he doesn't get healthy, that's a huge loss up front. He's a beast. I seen him right there. Right there. That's crazy. And get well soon. That's what it is. I know he'll be out there. He's a dog. He'll fight through it. And I think even though they're going to have some players banged up, probably rest some of their top players, I think the Revs get this victory at home in the final match day. That place is almost going to be sold out. And Revs, minus 300, lock them in. The next one we got New York City FC taking on the Philadelphia Union. Now, New York City, minus 140 favorite. Well, let's see if that's still accurate. Actually, minus 145 now. The Philadelphia Union, still plus 370 underdog. Over-under at 2.5. With the over at minus 145 still. And New York City FC coming off a 3-1 victory at Inter Miami. Coming back home, have won 5 of the last 6 meetings. And that's a solid record. I'm looking at that. If you have a matchup with a team that's consistent, you won 5 of the last 6 versus the Philadelphia Union, they're almost guaranteed to win. I don't have them locked in right here. And you already know what I have locked in. I think, and we have this locked in for 6 out of the 15 games on this Sunday. It's going to be fucking huge. I know. It's like beating a dead horse with the drums. But I can't fucking wait. That, along with NFL Week 9, it's going to be hectic. And the Philadelphia Union, even though they're sitting second in the league, 14, 11, and 8 on the year, 47 goals for, 34 given up. They do score a good amount of goals off a 2-0 victory versus Cincinnati, which that's not the craziest victory. They got the second goal kind of late, I think 70th minute around there. But probably could have scored more. Cincinnati probably could have got a goal himself in that game. And I think traveling on the road, they're already locked in playoffs. If you look at New York City FC, and all these first games are at 3:30. I think the next game, we got one more at 3:30, and then we get into the 6 o'clock games, which finish off hectic Sunday. And see, qualified. They already qualified. So it's Atlanta United, Orlando City, and New York Red Bulls fighting for this position. New York City FC and Philadelphia Union basically just battling for position, who got the home game when they play that little play-in or in the playoffs in general, depending on the seed they play, of course. So I think New York City FC, 55 goals on the year, only 35 given up. I think they get the victory in this one, but the over 2.5 has hit in 5 out of those last 6 games. When New York City was at home, they won all those. I'm going to stay away from winners in this one, solely based upon Philadelphia being second in the table, only giving up 34. But I think New York City FC gets it done. But I'm going to lock in over 2.5. The next game at 3:30, we got Toronto FC versus DC United. Now, DC United, you see, in 3 points out of playoff position. Could they get in there? Maybe. They have a huge victory over Toronto, and it could happen because you see Toronto down there. We'll actually look into the game so it's highlighted. Dealing with multiple injuries. You got DC United battling for that playoff position, traveling on the road. One of the key stats, though, even though they scored 53, they've given up 53 themselves. 13, 5, and 15 on the year. Don't usually draw games to see that they're winning or they're losing. And even though 13 wins on the year, they struggle on the road. DC United have lost 5 of the last 6 away games off a 3-1 loss at home versus the Columbus Crew compared to Toronto FC. Granted, 17 losses on the year, but 6 wins, 10 draws, 38 goals. Not too much, but 63 goals given up. That's a hell of a lot of goals. And second to last in the East, only 1 win in their last 4 home games for Toronto. And they've given up goals in 6 straight home games. So there's going to be goals left and right. I think this is a guaranteed. Each team giving up over 53. It's going to be a straight battle. DC United is going to go for it. Probably going to give up at least 1 or 2 goals in this game and score a couple themselves. We're locking in the over 2.5, which is at -150 favorite. Let's just make sure. Make sure it hasn't changed, right? Because you always see that shit. -150, still there. Might shift to 3.5, so get it in early. We'll add it in. Now, on to the 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock locks. Now, LA Galaxy at home versus Minnesota United. Minnesota United plus 255, which is a little surprising. They're coming off a big victory at home versus Sporting KC, 2-1. But this is probably the sole reason why they're 1-1-4 in their last 6 away games and sitting 5th in the table, 2 spots ahead of the LA Galaxy. Galaxy needs a result in this game. If we go over here, 13, 8, and 12 on the year. 47 goals for, but Galaxy have given up 51. Good amount of goals right there. They need at least a draw, right? To give themselves a good shot of making the playoffs. Real Salt Lake, they could have a big victory and come out and make the playoffs with a win. But LA Galaxy need a result. See, it's tough though. They played Seattle well on the road in their last game, 1-1 draw. But Galaxy, in their last 7 home games, have only won 1 game compared to Minnesota United, who shitty on the road. So I think I'm gonna stay away from winners in this one. I think there's gonna be goals left and right on this whole MLS slate, and the over 2.5 sitting at -150. I think it's a guaranteed lock. It has hit in the only 3 games. These teams haven't had too many meetings all time. So I think this is a key stat. Over 2.5 in the only 3 games when Minnesota traveled to LA. So we're gonna lock in over 2.5 in the LA Galaxy versus Minnesota United. Let's go. Let's get it. Crazy weekend. We're gonna get this dropped before. Let's get it before the weekend starts. Let's go. Huge. I can't wait. HST back. Took a couple of days off. Had to enjoy the crazy streak that we went on. Absolutely insane. It was crazy. 78 hitters. What? Damn. That's crazy. Sparkle for that. 3 more locks on the MLS slate. Moving through this, giving you little bits and pieces of info to make sure you're making your correct locks and making it accurately. And if you DJ Khaled, accurately. Where we off to next? Portland Timbers at home versus Austin FC. Portland sitting 4th in the league. That's surprising. Hell of a team though, for sure. 53 goals on the year, but as you see, with a lot of the teams that score a lot of goals, they're also giving up a lot of goals. Portland have given up 52 on the year. And this is compared to Austin FC, 53 goals given up on the year. But the problem with them, they haven't scored as much, only 35 goals themselves. You got Austin FC, only 4 draws, so they don't really draw games, but 9 wins, 20 losses. That's crazy. And Portland coming off a 3-1 victory at Real Salt Lake and have won 4 of their last 5 home games. I think Portland guaranteed to win this game. And even though Austin have won their only 2 meetings versus Portland, that was because Austin was at home. But the goal difference was 7-2. So I think there's going to be goals left and right in this game. The over-under is at 3.5. Look over here. Still -145 favorite. Over-under. Over still +120 underdog. We're going to stay away from the over-under, even though I think there's going to be goals left and right. If we look at Portland, each team dealing with injuries. Portland already qualified, so they don't have to worry about too much. Austin, they're out of it, so they don't really have to worry about playoff position either. Sitting 4th, 4 points between 5th, and 6 points between 3rd. Not going to move much. They're either going to take on Minnesota United, Vancouver, LA Galaxy. That could all shift right there. All those teams from 9th to 5th separated by 3 points. It's going to be a huge final match day. I know I keep saying it. He's just beating the dead horse. But dead ass. This could shift like crazy. It's going to be hectic. So, let's go. Give it up for them boys out there. Going to be balling. Dead ass. So, my lock, we're locking in Portland. Minus 145. 3.5. That's a little much. Even though I think there's going to be goals. But those are a couple little stats. Austin, I don't think they have a shot in this one. The last 2 locks. San Jose Earthquakes at home versus FC Dallas. Now, San Jose plus 103 favorite. If we go down here, we're staying away from that Vancouver, Seattle. I think that's going to get sketchy. But FC Dallas, Ricardo Pepi, coming off a 2-1 win versus Austin. I think this one right here, San Jose sitting 10th in they in the West for sure. Sitting 10th in the West. Each team out of the playoffs. San Jose coming off a 4-3 victory at Real Salt Lake. Only 1 loss in their last 5 home games. So they're getting results at home. And I don't think FC Dallas, they have enough drive. Especially at the end of the year, final match day. They're going to want to go out with a bang. They're obviously going to be out there balling, trying hard. But sitting 11th, 7-11-15 on the year. 55 goals given up. Each team giving up over 50. That's crazy. But off that 2-1 victory versus Austin, but only 1 win. 1 win in their last 8 away games. Winless in their last 4 at San Jose. And I think San Jose, they've been balling lately. They've scored 9 goals in their last 3 home games versus Dallas and won 2 of those. I think San Jose gets the job done here. It's probably going to be goals back and forth. I'm going to lock in the over 2.5. And I'm going to lock in San Jose to get the job done. Go off with a victory. And another little flyer. I think it's plus 180 odds. Go with this. San Jose. What you say, Jose? See, plus 100 shifted down just a little bit. I wouldn't be too worried about it, but the over 3.5 sitting at plus 155 odds. That has hit in 3 straight when Dallas travels to San Jose. Little key flyer, some D stats behind it, and I think that's not a bad play right there. Oh, minimum selections. See, it says it's 16, but you can't even parlay 16. Puta caray. That's just crazy. But on to the last lock. Let's get it. How we gonna finish off the show? Sporting KC versus Real Salt Lake. Now, Sporting KC, minus 150 favorite, taking on Salt Lake, who's plus 370 underdog. Still is such right there. Over under 2.5, minus 260 to hit the over. Get that in. Maximum. Fuck you with the maximums. That shit's crazy. But over 2.5, definitely guaranteed to shift. This one, I guarantee it. Sporting KC sitting second on the table, 17-7-9 on the year. Off back-to-back road losses though, so they're gonna be happy to coming back home and have won 4 out of their last 5 home games. But each team has won 3 out of the last 7 meetings between Salt Lake and Sporting KC. So it's gonna be hard to pick a winner. You got Real Salt Lake fighting for that playoff spot. And if we look more in depth quick, they're sitting 7th, right? No, sitting 8th. 54 goals for, 54 giving up. So they play back and forth type of game. 13-6-14 on the year. It's going to be tough on the road versus Sporting, but they could get it done. They are coming off a 3-1 loss versus Portland, but I think they're going to be going for it in this game. They've given up 7 goals in their last 2 games, so they don't care. They actually won one of them, I'm pretty sure. Actually, lost both of them. But giving up 4 to San Jose at home, and then giving up 3 in their last game to Portland. I think Sporting KC, 58 goals on the year. They're at least going to get 2 themselves. Real Salt Lake, guaranteed to get at least 1. Over 2.5. Get it before it changes. And get it while the cooking's hot. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's have a weekend. And that's how we going to end the show right there. Shout out JB on the beat. Turn that up for me one time. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure you stay tuned for the Sunday show. Moon's Locks, A-Brain's Locks. Let's get it. Could we do it like this every week? Just send out the weekend soccer locks. Make sure the Sunday show is for the Sunday show in the end. What is for Sundays? Guaranteed is for the NFL. That's for sure. 17 games this year. Let's go. I can't wait. And sitting first in my league. Hold on, let me. Actually, we can show you right here. Little last thing to end it off. Oh, did I say first? I meant third. Nah, actually, which was the one? See, I ain't lying. Sitting first in the 45, scheming Willie Beeman out here. Let's get it. 2,900 points. Come on. Come on. Look at the other one. Where they at? League overview. No, I do not want to do that. Hold them L's. Shout out to L's. That boy, 7-1. 7-1. Oh my God, 7-game win streak for Hold Them L's. Started holding. Oh, first and goal on your mom. Came back, won on the Monday night game. That's fire. But guess what? You already know. Dripping sauce ain't gonna lose. RDG's 9th. Baller 4th, 6-2. Me and him tied up. Baller beat me last week. Shout out him. He got a squad too. We got lucky. I had some people on a bye. But let's get it. Let's have a weekend. And that's the show. Let the beat rock. Shout out JB.